Hello class, welcome to week 11. So I am a little disheveled here in my apartment still and with myself. But anyways, here we are. We just covered a very intense and important section, right? On Islam. And before that we covered Christianity. I mean, right now I want you to think about just how much we've covered in terms of important information that the average person doesn't have access to, or they don't know they have access to, should we say, right? And I'm really happy with a lot of what I've been reading and the discussions and everything that has happened with this class. On so many of these topics, and we're getting kind of close to the end. Actually, I'm just going to plug in. Sorry, my laptop's getting low. Okay. But let's see, what did I want to say? Okay, before I go further, I was talking to another student about this really briefly, and it's something that I think I mentioned. I've said it before. I will probably reiterate at the end, but I just want to really stress to you. I want to remind all of you that this is a very limited approach to understanding different cultures, that we're learning the ideals. When we study the religion of people, I mean, I've had Jewish and Muslim friends ask me to teach them, or that don't know about certain aspects of their religion that I've learned. As a history professor, I've had students that have been practicing members of various faiths, and they say, Mr. Pollack, I've never heard that before, or I knew this but I didn't really understand it. Here's the point. The point isn't, oh, I'm saying I'm so smart. What I'm saying is that the average person is living their religion in its most basic form, its way of life. It's a part of their culture. Some people spend more time on it and actually really are devoted to it. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, many of you might have at least a relative or two, or you might be that person yourself that, reads the holy book 3 chapters a day, or, really make sure you do your prayers and a proper diet, not drinking alcohol or not eating meat or eating only certain types of meat. All of these things. But a good chunk of people, it's like being American. It's like being anything, like you just are. And even if you are a patriotic person, it doesn't necessarily mean you really know the full history or you fully studied the Constitution. There's certain things that resonate with you and you say, this is what I am, this is what I believe in. So I guess what I just want to remind us is that, when we're taking this history class, one, I'm covering a lot of different cultures over centuries. I'm giving us the most basic kind of background information. And I'm giving it in its historical development and its ideal forms of some of the religious texts that are not necessarily what the average person spends all this time studying. I know many Muslim friends who don't know the difference between Shiite and Sunni, or can't necessarily, sometimes they confuse which is a hadith and a verse in the Quran. I have many Jewish friends that have never studied the Talmud or other Jewish literature, or even read the Bible, but still know some of the prayers and would still identify as Jewish. I think you get my point, okay? And so just keep that in mind about everyone. So I guess what I'm trying to really, really warn you is, I'm really against this idea that you study a religion or a culture and then you look at your neighbor or your friend, or you look at somebody else on the street that is of that background and you think that you're getting into their mind. Okay? That you somehow now know the Muslim mind or the Christian mind or whatever, or the Chinese mind. No, don't. I'm really against that kind of approach to history and learning, okay? There's certain cultural habits and traits. There's certain types of things that you can anticipate, more so maybe in other cultures, but it's never always this perfect cookie cutter kind of vision. The stereotype that fits so perfectly, like a textbook, Okay, so having said that, we're moving on now into Africa, and I'm mainly covering the influence that, Africa, that Christianity, the role of Christianity and Islam in Africa, not to be in disrespect to the indigenous religions of Africa that were there before those monotheistic faiths. But there's just so many of them, and with our limited time, I thought it would be at least good to put into context some knowledge of Africa based on some things you've already learned, right? So we're trying to do so much information in a short amount of time. I might as well bring it into context through something that we've at least went over a little bit, right? So I'm hoping you'll find this to be helpful. The documentary is really powerful at the end that I do on Africa and the way its history has been presented, and how the Islamic world and the Christian world have kind of overshadowed aspects of indigenous African history. So that's significant. And then next week we're going to double up again. And then we're going to, finals week, we're going to cover just a little information. It won't be too bad. I kind of, in this class, we push on through to the end, but I think you'll find it well worth it. And, you already know how I am and what to expect from the workload. And you can realistically, you'll be fine. If you've got this far, you're fine. Okay? So, I have been busy. I've been able to talk to a few of you, and some I want to talk to more. So I, keep trying to get a hold of me. I will be working from home Tuesday and Wednesday, and perhaps Thursday. So any other questions or anything, just let me know. But here we are, and have a great week, and we'll be in touch.